Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Jalil Thurman here, host of HBCU 101. We have a very special show for you guys, an all-star edition. We're talking cheerleaders, funk music with George Clinton himself, Emmy Awards, and even a little of prime time. Let's start today's show. Welcome to HBCU 101.
I had all the no's, but I got that one I didn't give up.
Salmon's in the building.
Drum major for Morehouse's House of Funk.
All right, everyone, we're closing in on the end of season 3 of HBCU 101, and we have a lot of people we want to hear from before we take a break, so we're bringing them to you this week. Joining me now is Tali Carr, TC. We always got some news. There's always something happening. HBCUs in the NFL. What's going on? Talk to me.
What's up, man? Doing all right?
I'm doing all right. Can't call it.
Good, man. Good. Look, let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons and their cheerleading club, okay? AFC. The director of cheerleading is a FAMU grad. The director of choreography, a Tennessee State grad. One of them has their PhD, the other is a chemist. That's what you young kids call the drip, right? They're just dripping with excellence, right?
I had to give that to you.
Atlanta, FAMU, Tennessee State, put it together, that is an Atlanta classic duo. We're talking to Jakeen Ashford. She's with the Falcons. She's over choreography with the cheerleading squad. And Chateau Hendricks, who's the director of cheerleading for the Falcons as well. So Jakeen is Tennessee State. She's TSU in the house. And Chateau is FAMU. So you already know what's happening there. You know, the Rattlers will strike and strike and strike again. So we'll give her all of that here this afternoon. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. Wow, you got a lot of exciting things going on, but let's give people a little background and a little context. Janine, we'll just start with you. We'll move from left to right on the screen. How do you make it professionally? Cheerleading, dance, choreography. There's so many talented people out there. Not everyone could do it. What's your story? How did you make it?
Wow. If I could write a book, well, started at a very young age dancing and cheering. Went to Tennessee State. I was a majorette in the band. I was a sophisticated lady with the Aristocrata bands. And that really gave me the experience of performing in front of thousands of people and just getting that under my belt. And then I went on to audition for the Tennessee Titans cheerleaders. Cheered there for 2 years, moved to Atlanta to pursue a career in the pharmaceutical industry. I'm a chemist at a pharmaceutical company, lab manager. So I do that during the day. And at night, I made the cheerleading team and I cheered for 4 seasons. And a coaching opportunity became available and I moved on to coaching. But I would say it took so many years of dedication. You don't wake up one day and decide you want to be a professional cheerleader or dancer. You got to put the time in. You have to put the work in. And you have to be able to balance your personal life as well as cheer and dance because it's time consuming. It takes a lot of dedication, but if you have strong will and willing to put the time in, you can make it.
Okay, let's make sure everybody does not have to rewind. Yes, she is a chemist as well. So you can do multiple things in your life that may seem like they're on total opposite ends of the spectrum. You know, dance, choreography, and chemistry. They can go together.
Absolutely. I tell people I use both sides of my brain. And it's really a requirement. We want people on our team who are well-rounded. We always say cheerleading should be the icing on your cake, not your cake. And it takes time, of course, to balance both, but you can fulfill your dreams, whatever your career goals are, and cheer at the same time.
All right, Chateau Hendricks joining us as well. We've already established no relation to Jimi Hendrix, but she does have the gift of the arts. Chateau, coming out of FAMU, making your way to be the director of cheerleading with the Falcons. That's got to be an interesting journey for you as well.
Absolutely. Like Jakeen, I started cheering in high school and attended FAM. I actually tried out for the FAMU team my senior year of high school and did not make it. But someone, I'm not sure what happened, ended up not continuing on. And so I was contacted and became, asked to be on the team. And the rest was history. So I cheered all 3 years at FAM, graduated from FAM and moved to Atlanta, took a year off without dancing or cheering. And it was just the weirdest thing ever. I moved to Atlanta to go to grad school at Clark. So took that first year, got the first year under my belt and was like, gosh, I miss, cheerleading, and ran into an Atlanta Falcons cheerleader. And, she invited me to the audition and I came out to a prep class and it was very helpful. And I got to know more about the program and thought, you know what, I think I want to do this. That was 24 years ago. And so I cheered for 6 seasons. And after my 6th season, I resigned or retired, as we said. And the opportunity to become the coordinator at that time came open. And so I've been coaching the team for the past 18 years. Yeah.
Wow. So what is that experience like? To be behind the scenes, so to speak, but you have ladies coming in and out each year. You're making an impact on their life. You're making sure that they do their job and make sure all of that falls in line as well. And you balance a whole different set of skills in what we'll call your day job. You're a counselor, school counselor. So that's quite a bit on your plate for the last 18 years.
Absolutely. I call it my cheer world coming together. So as a school counselor, you're constantly advising kids, but really more so cheering them on, reminding them that they can do this, helping them to set goals. And as a cheerleader or a cheer coach, encouraging your dancers, or as a cheerleader, encouraging your team to do their best. So it really it meshes well, believe it or not. It has really worked well with the design for my life. I call myself cheer doc. I have my doctorate in psychology, but again, still just loving to promote positive energy, just great performance, having a good time, and encouraging and uplifting others has really come together for me.
All right, Tali, thanks for today's feature story, and we're just getting started. Coming up after the break, we're going to spend some time with one of my newest fraternity brothers, Dr. Funkenstein himself, originator of the atomic dog. It's George Clinton when we return.
Time now for your HBCU Wall Street 101s celebrating Women's History Month. In 1938, First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt challenged the segregation rules at the Southern Conference on Human Welfare in Birmingham, Alabama, so she could sit next to African-American educator and activist Mary McLeod Bethune. Roosevelt would come to refer to Bethune as her closest friend in her age group.
HBCU 101. Welcome back to HBCU 101.
Welcome back to the show. Today, our HBCU trivia is just for the fans. We'll have the answer in just a few minutes, but first, here's the question. The first African-American to play for the Lakers organization was Bob Williams from 1955 to 1957. What HBCU did he attend? All right, TC back, join us again. Trivia question. You know basketball, so I know you know, so you got to keep that on a low, T.
And I'm the co-producer, so I wrote it this week.
That's true. That is true. That is true.
But look, man, you have the fun job. You get to interview all the stars and celebrities. And we got George Clinton coming up in just a second. But here's one thing I want to know. You as a Q, an Omega, man, if you're like at your cousin's party, just kind of casually hanging out, it's just you. You don't have your squad with you.
Right.
Atomic Dog comes on. Do they put the pressure on you to get out there and bust the moves?
They do.
Stepping?
They do, T.
Is it awkward?
It is, but at the same time, it is. It takes you back to undergrad when you hear that. It's like it hits your spine and you're ready to do your thing. So trust me, it's always a thing since I became the brush. Trust and believe. But I did have the pleasure, T, like you mentioned, to catch up with my now fraternity brother, George Clinton. But not only did we talk the frat, but we also talked what it was like when he stepped into the studio and created the infamous Atomic Dog.
Mr. George Clinton. Rude to the good bros. Rude.
I can do all of it now. I can do it all now.
Come on now, Mr. Clinton, George. Welcome first and foremost to the fold. You know, 2020 inductee, welcome to the fold. How does that feel to finally be a member of the greatest fraternity of all time, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Corporation?
I'm 80 years old, turning 80 years old in a few months now. I've been waiting a long time to legally do that. You know, I mean, we've been jamming the song, you know, the national anthem for the Dogs.
Come on now.
For years, and they've been tempted to, you know, induct me into it, you know, and it finally happened, man.
Yeah.
You know, with Anthony Hamilton and Usually.
Yeah.
Man, we stepping on them.
Yeah.
We stepping. I got to learn the steps now,
Yeah.
but I'm in there now, so I got to learn all of the bylaws and everything. I'm studying like I'm in school again,
I
brother.
know, right? I am a member of the fraternity, as we all know, crossed in 2012. And the Atomic Dog, I'm sure when you created it, you didn't know what it was going to mean to our fraternity and then even to just the culture. I mean, when you hear that song, you automatically think of two things. Of course, the funk and George Clinton, but you also think of, man, where the Q's at? Where they coming? I know they coming from somewhere. Oh, your favorite line? Like, what's your favorite out of the song?
Oh, Atomic Dog. Why must I feel like that? Why must I take the cat? Nothing but the dog in me.
Dog in me. Dog.
Yeah, that part right there explained how I was feeling at that moment. You know, it was chemically induced, or the lack of chemical induced. That's really what it was that. You know, I was in need, and I felt like they were dogging me out.
Right.
That's one of the side effects of, you know, mental drugs. It always feels like somebody doing something to you.
Gotcha.
And so all I could get out of it was going to the studio and give me a track. I'm gonna do this, you know. And you put yourself on the spot. And I remember the day them looking at me when I realized that the track was backwards, and I didn't know what key it was in. So I have to start talking. This is the story of famous dogs with a dog and chick. I'm just like trying to figure out what key to in. So I talked to like, oh, they ain't gonna come in. So then I just started, you know, why must I feel like that?
Yeah. And you know what? I will have to agree with you. It's like I think it's a universal feeling. Like, why must I feel? You know what I'm saying? And then I think it's the ad-libs for me. You know, the futuristic dog and then all the other things. But I think the thing that catches me the most is the beat when it drops.
Oh, the beat. That's why, you know, the beat itself was so phenomenal that I didn't even really want to get in the way of the beat. So I basically was trying to stay away from getting, and then when I realized it was backwards.
Okay.
And I had started talking forward. Now we got to make this record work like this.
Yes.
We had to go put the drums back on again, straight, so you can get some drums, because the other drums were going, you know, that we had one of the singles is without the drums in it.
Okay.
So it was actually like that.
Okay.
But it's one of those songs that produced itself.
Yeah.
You know, I was into my thing, and you know, and I'm gonna make it work before I come out, and I'm good at that. I don't care how crazy it go. I'm gonna make it make sense some kind of way. And I had help with the musician Bernie Worrell. He wasn't even at the session when we did it, the song, but I know if I have him play, that ties me. Yeah, it sounds like we did it intentionally. It sounds like it's arrangement. You know, we arranged it from the backwards forward.
Okay. And it came together in a way that I don't think you knew. And that song will live forever.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I never tried to do it again.
Nah, no need.
But you don't even try nothing like that. none of it, and it was like, it did itself. Yeah. Another one that did that was, simple as it sounded, was Flashlight.
Okay.
We were just trying the Jackson 5 had to vibe for that era, so we had to get a song that just had little James Brown in there, and the kind of a Jackson 5 tone in the voice. Mm-hmm. But the thing was, Bernie played the bass on a Moog.
Gotcha. Which
usually it's a bass player like Larry Graham, Mm-hmm. Bernie played on a Moog, and nobody had ever heard anybody play classical. Mm-hmm. And that's what he's playing, a classical line on the Moog. So it actually, all of a sudden, it's a slick James Brown song with some certain notes in there. I would never dance.
That made it come together just right.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Clinton, I just want to say thank you for taking time out to give us the scoop on everything, root to the good brush. I got to show you some of that good love.
Yeah, you got to show me that. I'm still learning now. I got to get my steps together.
But you're throwing that hook up real good. So I see you've been learning.
You made me keep it down for so long.
Okay, coming up next, we have HBCUs out here winning Grammys and Emmys. We'll let you know who when we return. But first, the answer to our trivia question is, the first African-American member of then the Minneapolis Lakers was a graduate of FAMU. We'll be right back. I see you out there, Rattlers, striking, and striking again.
HBCU 101. Welcome back to HBCU 101.
Welcome back to HBCU 101. I am your host, Jaleel Thurman. It's award season, and in the last couple of weeks, we've had some HBCU representation both in the Emmys and the Grammys. Tolly has all of the details.
Let's start with Shaw University. It won an Emmy for its feature documentary, Shaw Rising. It depicts the history of the university, its impact on education and social justice in the United States. One of the co-executive producers is Travis Mitchell, a Raleigh, North Carolina native. His parents attended Shaw, although he chose Morgan State, where he also played basketball. The Grammys finally get it right. The Fisk University Jubilee Singers won their first ever Grammy last week. And I mean first ever. And they've been around since 1871. The vocal group's Celebrating Fisk, the 150th anniversary album, was named Best Roots Gospel Album. Congrats to Shaw and Fisk, two treasures of our nation.
Thanks, TC. This past week, the city of Atlanta celebrated HBCU Heritage Day with a big gathering on the floor of the Capitol building downtown. One of the speakers was Dr. George T. French Jr., president of Clark Atlanta University, and he spoke about the importance of HBCUs.
Because HBCUs produce 24% of all Black PhDs in the STEM discipline. HBCUs represent over 80% of all African American lawyers in the nation. These institutions, which represent 3% of all African Americans, actually graduate over 50% of all African American professionals. That was a clap.
That definitely deserves a clap. When we come back, it's a big Sunday for HBCUs in the NCAA tournament. We'll show some love when we return.
It's time now for Did You Know, brought to you by HBCU Pride Nation. Lumpkins Jail, known as the Devil's Half Acre, was a slave jail that was turned into a theological seminary, then turned into Virginia Union University in 1865.
HBCU 101. Welcome back to HBCU 101.
Time now for the Wear Brims Spotlight, shining on Maria Daniels today. She's a Southern University alumna and a self-published author and CEO of 20 Roses Publishing. It is her hope to inspire new authors, as well as become a resource. If you know someone who should be in the Wear Brims spotlight, send us an email, info@hbcu101.com.
TC, it's basketball.
Yeah.
NCAA tournament.
I saw your president with the crossover this week.
Yo, listen, his crossover was crazy. His crossover was crazy.
Phone collector, check that out on Twitter. Sorry, hijacking the show.
What's happening in the NCAA tournament with HBCUs? Talk to me.
Oh man, we got guys and girls. Look, the guys get all the attention. Let's talk about the ladies for a few, okay? Jackson State is coming out of the SWAC. If you're watching this for the first run, today is Sunday. They're going to play later today against the defending national champions out of Baylor. They're a 15 seed. You know, usually HBCUs get that 16. So it's a little golf clap for us moving up, a little progress. So that's a 15 versus 2. You can find that on TV. Just do a little search. And North Carolina A&T coming out of the MEAC, they're a 16 seed, taking on the number 1 seed, NC State. Whew, both of those tall drinks of water, but we're cheering our ladies on. And on the men's side, shout out to Texas Southern and Norfolk State who made it as well.
Spartan Nation, Spartan Nation.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk spring football. We gave them a little basketball. Now let's talk a little HBCU football. You know who's still in the news, giving the same energy he did when he was back in the NFL, Coach Primetime. What's going on at Jackson State?
Man, Deion Sanders continues to set the bar, man, because he comes from success. So he demands it. So the SWAC recently got a set of games on the 4-letter network. You know who I'm talking about. And a lot of people were like, oh, man, that's awesome. He was like, well, we need to be on the top. We don't need to be on ESPN. You know, we need to be at the top. But he said it much better than me. Let me not put words in his mouth. Let's check out what Deion Sanders said about the TV exposure for the SWAC in the spring.
The exposure we get from ESPN, we shouldn't be on no darn ESPN 14 and we happy about it. We should be on the ESPN 2 or ESPN. I guarantee the numbers are going to constitute that whatever you had on the week prior, we outdid those darn numbers. So give us our shine. Allow us to, our kids to get their exposure.
And that's Coach Primetime, always giving us that good energy that we need, especially in the HBCU culture. But that's it for today's episode. For the entire crew, I am your host, Jaleel Thurman. It's Tali Carr. We'll see you guys next week.
I don't know what to do with my hands.